What if everything you learned in school was the edited version? Not a mistake, not an oversight, a choice. There are events in human history so strange, so threatening to the official story, that they weren't just forgotten, they were buried. No textbook mentions them, no documentary covers them, and the people who try to expose them? Well, let's just say they went quiet real fast. We're talking about civilizations that shouldn't have existed, technologies that were impossible for their time, disasters that were explained away too quickly, and discoveries so dangerous, governments literally locked them in vaults and pretended they never happened. 5 events, 5 cracks in the version of history they sold you. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 suppressed events that could rewrite the history books. From ancient engineering that defies modern science, to a massacre so massive it vanished from the official record overnight. And trust me, number 5 is the one they really didn't want you to find. Number 1, the buried city that predates every civilization we know. In 1900, a group of sponge divers off the coast of Greece pulled something up from the ocean floor. It wasn't a sponge, it was a machine, a 2,000-year-old machine, with gears, dials, and a complexity that engineers today still struggle to fully reverse engineer. They called it the Antikythera mechanism, and the moment scientists realized what it actually did, the room went very, very quiet. This device could calculate the position of the sun, the moon, predict solar eclipses, and track the cycles of the Olympics, all in 100 BC. Think about that. The same era when people were traveling by horse and writing on clay tablets. Someone built a computer, not metaphorically, not loosely, a functioning, geared, astronomical computer. So the question isn't just, how did they build this? The real question is, what else did they build that we haven't found yet? Because here's the part that never makes it into the history books. The Antikythera mechanism wasn't alone on that ship. There were dozens of artifacts recovered, statues, coins, jewelry. But the mechanism? It was nearly thrown away, mistaken for a lump of corroded rock. We almost lost the single greatest proof that ancient technology was centuries ahead of what we were taught. And if one device survived 2,000 years underwater by accident, imagine what was intentionally destroyed. The ancient world didn't lose its knowledge by accident. Someone cleaned house. Number 2, the Massacre. So large, an entire empire tried to erase it. In 1258 AD, something happened in Baghdad that the world was never supposed to remember. The most advanced city on the planet was wiped off the map in 7 days. Baghdad wasn't just a city, it was the intellectual capital of the entire world. The House of Wisdom, a library so vast, so legendary. It made Alexandria look like a bookshelf. Hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, philosophy, centuries of human knowledge collected under one roof. And then the Mongols arrived. What followed wasn't just a conquest, it was erasure. The Mongol army under Hulagu Khan didn't just burn the library, they threw the books into the Tigris River. So many books. Historians claim the river ran black with ink for days. Let that image sit with you for a second. Centuries of human discovery, gone, not lost, thrown away. But here's the twist nobody talks about. Estimates suggest over 800,000 people died in that week. Some historians say it was closer to 2 million. Yet this event, one of the deadliest massacres in all of human history, gets maybe 2 paragraphs in a standard world history course. 2 paragraphs. The fall of Rome gets entire semesters. The sack of Baghdad gets a footnote. Ask yourself, why? What inconvenient truths were stored inside those drowned manuscripts? What cures, what maps, what discoveries sank to the bottom of that river and never came back up? We didn't just lose a city in 1258, we lost an entire version of human potential. Number 3, the temple that should not exist. In 1994, a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt was surveying the hills of southern Turkey. He wasn't looking for anything extraordinary. And then his ground-penetrating radar started screaming. Buried beneath a mound of dirt, untouched for over 12,000 years, was something that rewrote the entire timeline of human civilization. A massive, perfectly engineered stone temple complex. They called it Göbekli Tepe, and the moment scientists calculated its age, textbooks across the world became instantly obsolete. See, history taught us a very clean, very comfortable story. Humans were primitive hunter-gatherers. Then, slowly, They learned farming, built villages, developed religion, then constructed monuments. That was the order. That was the rule. Göbekli Tepe broke every single part of it. This complex was built 6,000 years before Stonehenge, 7,000 years before the Great Pyramids, by people who, according to everything we believed, shouldn't have been capable of it. No metal tools, no wheels, no agriculture. Yet somehow they quarried, transported, and carved 20-ton limestone pillars with geometric precision that would challenge modern engineers. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. Whoever built Göbekli Tepe deliberately buried it. Not destroyed, not abandoned, buried, carefully, intentionally, as if they were hiding it for someone. For us, Schmidt spent the rest of his life excavating the site. He famously said, "First came the temple, then came the city." Everything we thought we knew about the birth of civilization, it was built on an assumption, and that assumption just got 12,000 years older. Number 4, the map that should have been impossible. In 1929, a group of historians were dusting off forgotten relics in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul. Tucked between centuries of royal artifacts, they found a map, old, fragile, drawn on gazelle skin, and completely, utterly impossible. It was called the Piri Reis map, drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis. At first glance, just another antique. Then the geographers looked closer, and the room went silent. The map showed Antarctica, accurately, not vaguely, not symbolically, the exact coastline, the bays, the inlets, the mountain ranges hidden beneath miles of ice. There was just one catastrophic problem. Antarctica wasn't discovered until 1820. That's 307 years after this map was drawn, and the coastline shown on the Piri Reis map, it matches what we only confirmed in 1958 using seismic technology beneath the ice sheet. In 1513, there was no seismic technology. There were no satellites. There were no submarines. There was nothing that could have revealed a coastline buried under kilometers of ice. So how? Piri Reis himself left a note on the map. He claimed he compiled it from ancient source maps. Source maps, documents so old, he didn't even know where they originally came from, which means someone, long before recorded history, surveyed Antarctica when it was ice-free. When was that? Geologists estimate Antarctica was last ice-free over 6,000 years ago. A civilization advanced enough to map an entire continent, and we don't even have their name. Number 5, the civilization that existed before all others, and was erased by the sky. What if every mystery we've covered tonight has the same answer? The Antikythera mechanism, the drowned manuscripts, the deliberately buried temple, the impossible map. What if they're not separate mysteries? What if they're all clues, pointing to the same catastrophic event? Meet the younger Dryas impact hypothesis, a theory so well evidenced and so deeply ignored by mainstream academia that the scientists behind it have spent decades being professionally destroyed for suggesting it. Here's what the data shows. Approximately 12,800 years ago, something hit Earth. Not a meteor, not a volcano, a comet, fragmenting across multiple continents simultaneously. The evidence is buried in the soil itself, a thin black layer found across 4 continents, loaded with nanodiamonds, platinum, and shocked quartz, the kind of materials that only form under cosmic impact pressure. The temperature spike was instantaneous. Entire ecosystems gone overnight. Woolly mammoths were found frozen mid-chew. Whatever happened, happened fast. But here's the part that should keep you up at night. The impact didn't just kill animals, it ended an entire chapter of human civilization. A chapter with no name, no monuments left standing, no written record, because the record was destroyed. Göbekli Tepe was buried after this event. The Piri Reis source maps came from before it. The Antikythera mechanism hints at knowledge that had to come from somewhere, and that somewhere is gone, wiped clean by fire from the sky, like someone hit the reset button on humanity. We aren't the first advanced civilization on this planet. We're just the first one to survive long enough to ask questions. That's all for today. If history class never felt this urgent, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started uncovering the dark side of everything they forgot to teach you.